These nice chunky ones, that's why we pay so much. We got gold pins, chunky IC chips, and then these we throw into a Gaylord. Our buyer shreds them and pays dirty aluminum for them. Hey Yardminers, today we have a Dell OptiPlex G1 that TechMike, he just came in town and bought a bunch of vintage computers from us.
I've hit the absolute jackpot today. There's about 200 vintage desktops and laptops here, and I just bought all of them.
This one was fried and not worth trying to fix. So today on our quick rip, we're gonna go ahead and break it down just so you can see what's inside of it. These Dells, the OptiPlexes particularly, they're pretty common as far as vintage computers go. When we see beige, we always try to save it, but these are just, there's just too many of them. There's not a great market demand for them, especially fried ones for parts and repairs. We're really just gonna show you what's in it, go through the process and generally how vintage computers were made. This was made in 1999. In the back, on the I/O shield, you can see it doesn't have a sound card, but it does have the normal expansion cards and things like that, which is really interesting. It does have USB here, so it's most likely USB 1 or USB 1.1. It's pretty simple to open up, just little side buttons, pops it right open. Plastic case, metal kind of framing along here, some loose parts, and we'll lift it up. So we've got our normal slot cards, our Pentium CPU. This is a Celeron, so not high demand there. Everything's kind of real cluttered and tight fitting and sharp, so definitely going to want to put gloves on here. These little edges can get you, especially these heat sinks. Power supply, floppy drive, CD drive, and then this old Western Digital hard drive. Sometimes you'll see two hard drives in these. This one just happens to have one, and it is a, wow, 4,311 megabytes. Fire. All right, so let's go ahead and get it started. Starting with the power supply in the back, just one screw and a little switch. And I'm gonna follow my own advice here, put gloves on. Good. So sometimes your yard won't take power supplies, and essentially it's a steel box with wire, computer wire, number 3 wire, and then some copper coils. It's really a power board in there and a copper fan. My yard takes, or my buyer takes these. We don't get a whole lot for it, but it does add up on this power supplies. Ribbon wire with vintage computers, you should get more for your ribbon wire than for your number 3 computer wire. And the reason is because it does have nice gold pins on it, and these copper strands are thicker than normal wires. So we try to separate that as well. Just one screw holding down the hard drive. So a good thing about these old hard drives is there is a collectors for these, but if they're not certified to reformat and you don't feel good about your client's information going, you're going to want to break these down and have them shredded. We take off the boards to all desktop hard drives because I think we're getting around $15 a pound for these, so it's worth the effort taking them off. Most of the time they're a hex bolt, and should just off with a couple screws. I'll show you why we get so much for them. This middle one's not coming out very well. I always remember to take off the foam with the fuzz, but these nice chunky ones, that's why we pay so much. We got gold pins, chunky IC chips, and then these we throw into a Gaylord. Our buyer shreds them and pays dirty aluminum for them. All right, so Dells, usually they have like a little colored handle to show you like what moves and what pulls up. Things haven't really changed. I think they're just blue now. This one happens to be green. So we're always looking for pull handles and easy instructions. This one slides out. Some slot cards. So we'll definitely take, we've been depopulating our slot cards, taking off the gold fingers, and then putting these with the steel bracket. We have a price that they'll buy them for that without the gold. So I put them in the finger slot cards bin to further depopulate later. out. Again, I have a eWaste refiner that does like to do the thin, low-profile squared IC chips with legs on both sides. It takes a lot less acid to process them than the thicker ones, so we'll probably take those off as well and just get the low grade for it. And again, we'll take the ones off that, and then we got basically shred here. Got it like this. Counts as ribbon wire. Still smaller. Little board here. Huh. Nice little plate. So these hard drive, these disk drives, sometimes if they have a complete face, we'll build a lot of them if it's a good name brand, and we'll sell them. But the ones that are pretty common like this, we take off the gold pins with a C-clamp. When they're hanging over like this, they're really easy to get. You just boom, like that, throw them in unclean pins. It's right behind you, and then this will go in our drive bin. And then for CD, DVD drives, I'll get this off the bottom real quick. We don't mess with the ones that don't have pins. They have real small kind of SATA connections. We throw them right into our drive boards. They're just not worth going after. But if they say creative, or there's a couple brands you really want to look out for. This is just a very generic one. It's LG, but it doesn't have anything special in the front. So we do break these down. And I go through this process like where we basically make things more granular. And if it can go into a Gaylord, we'll throw it in there. But you saw me break down the hard drive. Usually I wouldn't. I just wanted to show you what it looked like on the old ones. But we'll go into a further breakdown pile for like slower days. We'll throw it in here because we want to prioritize what makes the most money, right? And granted, the DVD boards and the hard drive boards do make good money, but you want to do them all at the same time. Have a big pile of them and work on that one thing over and over again. So today we've got a mountain of desktops. So we're going to start breaking down desktops, putting in the hard drives, the A drives, and the DVD drives into further breakdown pile. So there it is. It's a slider with it doesn't have a base plate. That's interesting. All right, so this is just a nice little metal shell. We'll go in our weight pile. This, we could probably get away with it at your scrapyard because it's got such a big metal base. So, but it does have a lot of plastic. It's the price of doing business. And then on these old Pentium CPUs, there's brass, like they look like little rook pieces from chess set, and it's just a Phillips head. You can unscrew them with. They should come right off. I do try to sell them. We have a little brass file. It's little, but it all adds up. That's how you kind of take it off. And then on this CPU, would again go into further breakdown. We take off the aluminum heatsink and we sell these CPU cards with the gold fingers as lots individually. So we'll take the fan off and things like that. That'll go into further. And so we're kind of left with this motherboard here. It's a good quality motherboard. It does have the IO shield mounted on it. So in order to kind of make sure we get the best price, I will go ahead and take off the IO shield. The less steel you can get on the board, the better price you're going to get. And I do want to show you why we like going after vintage boards. When we do break down the beige, it's because it does have some nice components on it. We're going to go ahead and pop open heatsink here. It is painted black, but it is clean aluminum. Take off our RAM card. It's so old, I know it's not worth keeping, but we do sell our RAM by in bulk. But really what we're going for, and also, before I forget, don't forget to take off your disk battery. Most eWaste buyers will penalize you if the battery's still on it. But we really like these boards because these three gold corner BGAs. We will depopulate that and throw this into motherboards. We'll probably get low-grade motherboard for it, but that's okay because right now we're specifically going after gold corner BGAs. And so I just take my chisel here, and a hammer. Should only take one hit. A little wedge over there, but it's too far away from the camera, so it came up relatively easy. I'm gonna try to get a cleaner hit here. Cracked on me. That's okay, as long as you keep all the pieces. And we have a gold corner BGA bin. Until it is about full. And it's heavy. This is a good 5+ pounds. We definitely like it when that fills up. We send it to our gold refiner. And they send back 24 karat gold minus 25% of it.
Feel that, right? How heavy that is. It's all from computer chips.
We got one more. I like looking for this one. Usually it has higher quality when it's the 3D ones. It's got a little bit more gold. One hit on that one. All right, so we're left with the old ball grid array. It still has some IC chips. Has some really nice gold pins on it. Take this plastic off just to make sure we don't get docked further. Again, that's brass. I like to keep that when we can. We'll throw the brass in. There we go. And we'll throw this in with it. So that was the Dell OptiPlex G1 with the Celeron CPUs, yeah, and Windows 98. Hope you enjoyed.